This is the time to go to.
Spring training. Yeah, one back there. Everything is controversial.
I'm gonna leave this here.
Hey guys. Hey, what's going on? Hey, how are you? You guys are fine.
He's on. I've known him a long time. He's a good guy.
Is that true? Yes. You vouch for him? What's that? You vouch for him?
It's the closest I get to being that like chemist. I guess my wife is like, my wife thinks I'm a slob. So.
When you throw that jacket on, I shake it.
Yeah, I guess. It means she will take me out with the kids and be like, you look presentable.
Nice to like my wife says about me, so it's good. You guys want to?
Ready?
On the side here.
Are you Peter?
Yes.
Hi, Peter. Nice to meet you.
Oh, you guys haven't met. You guys should get a bite or something.
Yeah, we're going to when I'm up here next week.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Svi?
Absolutely. Yes.
Could have ridden up together.
Okay, we're ready?
And Susan's gonna. Where's Susan? Did we lose her? Did we lose Susan? Where did we just lose? Did we just lose Susan? Wait, we just lost Susan. Hold on.
And this is when most people.
Alright.
It's like the real
You want to grab them or they're ready? Okay, we're trying an hour or two.
The joke is that people don't really start writing until they're Thanks, Brad.
Okay.
Alright, I think we'll wait just 2 seconds.
Sorry, we've got we got some kids coming.
We're gonna start with the pledge.
Yeah, you'll say hi, and then I guess you'll say hi, and then we'll go with the pledge, right?
This is not an agenda. I asked them for 2 sentences. They gave me a page and a half, so I want to read all of that. Oh, thank you, yeah.
Oh, hey, how are you, Councilwoman?
I'm wonderful.
Good
How
to
are
see you.
Yeah, we're putting a little teaching touch up there.
Okay. They're coming which way? Okay, yeah, right. Okay.
We
Okay.
have a back door here.
Are you guys all good? Okay.
Do we have a flag? Oh, do you want to hold it? You can use this one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a preschool.
Blitzer, Kylie, you good?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay. All you. Thanks.
Yeah, if you want.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Mountain Preschool. I am Susan McCartney, Director of First Mountain Preschool. We have been here in West Orange for 27 years, and I have a dedicated staff that has been with me the majority of those 27 years. So I am proud and blessed to have them. I met Josh recently, and I have been reading up about the initiatives that he has put in place, and one in particular about childcare. We understand how it's almost like a mortgage payment to some families. And just last year, First Mountain partnered with the West Orange Board of Education. We have a universal pre-K program in town, but not enough space. So the Board of Education has partnered with private providers. When I heard about Josh's plan, I appreciate the fact that he is trying to help child care centers and families have affordable child care and help us to succeed, strive, and survive. So this morning, we welcome Josh to First Mountain to talk about his plan. We want to learn more.
Thanks. We'll do the pledge, right?
Okay, let's do the pledge.
Okay. We always do the pledge.
don't think they're coming
They
up.
come-
They can't be on
Oh,
phone.
you're right.
Uh-huh.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent.
Thank you. We're proud of our kids too. Thank you.
You guys were amazing. That was amazing. Sorry. That was amazing. Good job, guys. Nice job. That was amazing. Thank you. You guys were amazing. Did I do, Josh? Did I do good?
You didn't say loud.
No, that was it's a tough act to follow.
Thank you so much. And I'm also here with Mayor Moore, so much from Asbury Park. Thank you so much, Mayor, for being here, for your leadership. I know these issues, especially childcare, means a lot to you, and you've done a lot in the community for childcare, so thank you so much. I don't know if you want to add anything. You good?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, but thank you very much for what you do, seriously. I'm very grateful. And Mayor, thank you. Mayor, childcare, guru, thank you so much for your leadership and your friendship. I know Rob is here. Parisi is the former mayor of this great community. I saw Rob. There's Rob, straight ahead. Hey, Rob. Good to see you. And Tammy Williams, who's former council president in West Orange. Thank you so much, Councilwoman, for being here. Council president, thank you so much. And Councilman Castellino is here as well. Thank you so much, Councilman. And I think I've got everybody, but if I missed anybody, I apologize. I do want to thank everyone for being here today. It is a huge honor. Oh, Mr. Beeson, who is also a former elected official, phenomenal man, is here from Ocean County. Thank you so much. Sorry, from Monmouth County, Ocean Township. Thank you so much for being here as well. And we're here at a child care center because, in my opinion, there's nothing more important than who we entrust to care for our children. And for most young families, as Susan was just saying, and as we know from any elected official or anybody who runs a child care center these days, child care is just too expensive. And parents know it the most, who are struggling to make ends meet as it is. And New Jersey has the second most expensive child care in the entire country. $1,082 a month for an infant. In Bergen County, it's $19,000 a year for an infant, right? That's as a result, parents often have to choose between going to work or paying for child care. When I'm governor, we're going to help parents pay those bills. Unfortunately, child care bills are just the tip of the iceberg of crushing costs our families are grappling with. That's why I'm here today, because we know what families are dealing with. I hear it across the state, every diner I go to, every room I walk into and talk to voters and to families. The number one issue they talk to me about are higher taxes. Our taxes are too high and our costs are too high, and they need help. From property income taxes to utility bills, housing, groceries, and healthcare costs. A recent survey indicated that 86% of New Jersey residents are either just barely making enough to stay afloat, or for most, they're falling behind, or the state's skyrocketing costs of living. So the costs of living are skyrocketing on all these fronts, and families, as these numbers show, are barely making ends meet, right? It's crushing them, right? And the numbers in New Jersey, because costs are so high, when I tell people from around the country what our families make, and they still say they can't make ends meet, they're shocked. But the bottom line is the cost of living in New Jersey, when you look at the highest property taxes in the country, second highest child care costs in the country, the rents are up 33% in the last 5 years. People are really struggling. It's turning the Garden State into the price gouge state because the people are just barely making it by. The next governor needs to focus on this 24/7 and help turn this around. I'm not the only person who will say this to you. Again, it's anywhere you go in any diner, go ask people what they're dealing with. Go ask a parent here who has to pay these bills every month. And this, by the way, and I've talked to Susan about it, is one of the more best quality, most affordable places around, right? Because they're focused on trying to make it affordable for parents, which I'm very grateful for. But we know how hard it is, right? I'm the only candidate in this race with detailed plans to actually lower our taxes. And now I want to talk about what I'm going to do to lower costs for families in Jersey. I'm not afraid to take on the tough fights. I'm not afraid to take on the tough issues. And today, that's what we're doing. We're going to talk about how we're going to make life more affordable for families, because someone in Jersey's got to take on these high taxes and higher costs. One of the things that shocked me about President Trump's address to Congress earlier this week was his total failure to lay out a plan to make life more affordable for you. There were no details of how he's going to get your taxes down or child care costs down or food costs or egg prices down. Folks were struggling, and there was no details, nothing about salt. And even worse, he doubled down on his misguided tariffs, which, as you know, will actually increase costs for families, right? Everything from a car to a laptop to fruit. The bottom line is the president failed to deliver on his promise to lower costs for Americans. As governor, I will take on these challenges, lower your taxes and lower your costs. It's time we had a governor right now who's willing to stand up to Trump and say very clearly, we're going to lower your costs and lower your taxes. Jersey deserves a governor who will get the job done, who's a fighter, who will stand up to Trump's outrageous policies and look out for our families. Last month, I released my tax cut plan for Jersey, which includes a nearly 15% property tax cut for owners and an annual rental rebate for renters. Income tax cuts for middle-class families and seniors, making it easier for folks to raise a family and retire in New Jersey. And my tax cut plan will incentivize businesses and jobs to move to our great state so we can grow. Better jobs, better opportunities for people, more revenue for our families, and with a tax credit for every job brought to the state. And as you know, if you look at my plan, it is fully paid for. So today I'm releasing my lower cost plan for Jersey. As governor, I will directly take on 5 of the biggest ticket items our families are facing: childcare, housing, utility bills, food, and health care. You can read the plan fully at joshforjersey.com, but let me give you the major pillars. Let's start with what I'll do to help here in child care centers with child care costs. In Congress, I proudly helped negotiate the expansion of the child tax credit to help hardworking families afford child care, food, and other necessities. I also helped secure a $2.7 billion increase in Head Start, which is a great and important program that affects and helps so many families in New Jersey, especially for lower income families. As governor, I'll help families pay for high-quality child care for their children. I'll double the state child tax credit from $500 to $1,000 per child. My family tax credit, which I've already introduced, will also cut income taxes for middle-class families, putting more dollars in their pockets, including cutting in half income taxes for the hardest-pressed families. I'll make it easier for child care centers around our state to open and to hire caregivers, which I know is a huge issue. Right now, they're often stuck in endless loops of bureaucratic rules and delays. During the pandemic, Jersey lost more than 250 child care centers, and providers made an ongoing shortage even worse. That means we have fewer high-quality child care centers like this one for our children, and that ends up meaning higher costs for our parents. When you have fewer places, it means there's fewer beds and fewer places for our kids, right? That means there's higher costs. We need more child care centers, whether they're in private buildings, homes, offices, schools, or public areas. I'll push for zoning reforms to make it easier to find space for daycare centers and give tax credits to employers that provide child care services. And I'll make it easier to find and hire good and caring workers while ensuring our children are in safe hands. I'll also help create public-private partnerships that make it easier for private child care centers to coordinate with school districts. As governor, I'll make sure universal pre-K is truly universal and that all children have access to free school meals. Governor Murphy has done a great job investing in our kids' successes, but we can do even more, and I'll focus on that. Right now, almost half of the state's school districts offer free, full-day preschool programs. I'm committed to getting universal pre-K to every Jersey family that wants it, everyone. Every school will have all-day kindergarten. If we invest in our children, it'll pay dividends for them and for our economy. Again, if you invest, think about this, all-day kindergarten, preschool that's universal, right? Help with childcare. We're going to look at the whole process because if you invest early and upfront, it pays dividends forever. We know that. It helps the kids, it helps the families, it helps our economy, it helps our state, and will help our future. The research is very clear about that. But if you don't invest, the kids can never catch up. We know that, right? It's why long ago Hillary Clinton talked about it taking a village, right? It does take a village. Everyone's got to make these investments. That's why we're also expanding coverage of the Family and Medical Leave Act. Second, we need to get housing costs down. Housing is usually the largest part of a family's budget, so lowering the cost to rent or own a home is essential. It's one of the most important things I'll do as governor, and where families will see some of the biggest savings. As I mentioned, as governor, I'll cut property taxes by nearly 15%. We'll give renters an annual tax credit, what we call a rental rebate, to help lower their costs of housing. Here's the other big thing we must do. We need more housing. We need to build more. We need more supply, especially of workforce and senior housing. New Jersey is short more than 200,000 housing units that are affordable. It's basic economics. Prices are higher when there's a shortage in supply. So by building more housing, we can lower costs, especially near mass transit and in areas where we have room to build, like abandoned or underutilized office parks, something I've been talking about for years. There's no reason we don't use these spaces more that are abandoned, right? They're not using them. Why can't we build more mixed-use housing and do more in those spaces? And we can use surplus land that is owned by the states and municipalities to build too. The Fair Share Housing Center found hundreds of empty parcels owned by the state. Working closely with local communities, which is how we should do all this, we could use these sites to build senior and workforce housing to help folks afford to move to and retire in our great state. But Jersey has obstacles to building that we need to knock down to incentivize building and increase housing supply. We got to go faster. It takes us way too long to build stuff in New Jersey. The bureaucracy is brutal. We know that. In Jersey, I've heard from builders that it can take 5 to 6 years on average to finish a new housing construction project, from applying for permits to cutting the grand opening ribbon. I aim to cut that development time in half and bring Jersey in line with other states, with our competitors. It should not take 5 to 6 years when you have other states doing it in 2 to 3. Imagine if we got more housing online faster, how that would help get more housing that's affordable for more families who need it. We'll do that by creating a one-stop shop for every project, where all the stakeholders have to come together around a table to share their feedback at one time, not sequentially like we often do it. One town, the local does it, then it goes to the county, then it goes to the state, and this takes years. Then they go back around and someone didn't comment. Everyone should sit around the table at one time like other states do, one-stop shop, raise the issues, address the issues, and deal with them. And we should put a shot clock on the approval process. 60-day clock for zoning boards and local governments to raise their objections or approve all requests for constructing new homes. This is how other states do it. You raise your hand, get it together. You raise your issues, right? No more delays or games. Cutting construction and permitting times keeps costs down. And you know who saves on that? You know who saves? The people who buy the homes or rent the homes, right? Families save, right? Because if something takes 3 more years than it should take, guess what? They don't just eat that cost, they pass it along to the renter or to the homeowner, to families in New Jersey. So let's get these costs down of housing, and let's have more housing. Third, we need to do everything we can to lower utility bills. This is a huge problem. Utility bills are up across the country as demand for electricity grows. The BPU keeps putting these through, right? But household bills are especially high in our state, 32% higher than the national average here in New Jersey. Apparently, we can expect another electric bill hike this summer. That's on top of the one that was just approved. Just last month, the Board of Public Utilities announced that residents and businesses can expect electricity prices and rates to rise by up to 20% starting in June. Right? I don't even think a lot of people know that this is coming at them. And if you're on a fixed income, imagine how difficult that is when this bill suddenly shows up. That's on top of a 16% hike on natural gas bills late last year, just in time for winter when folks needed to heat homes. The simplest way to bring down the average bill is to produce more energy. We need more supply. We need an all of the above approach as governor, and that's what I'm going to do. As governor, I'll take this full all of the above approach to energy. That means more renewable energy like solar and wind, along with alternative energies like biomass and small nuclear. Producing more energy in our state is key to lowering costs and creating a cleaner future for our kids and key to economic growth for our state. It means we don't have to rely on other states to charge us top dollars for their energy, especially from West Virginia coal plants, the dirtiest energy on the planet. Because what's happening now is we don't have enough supply. So we buy off the grid, especially during peak times. And where we buy a lot of that energy from is from places with coal, like West Virginia. That's a huge problem for us. We want to be making sure we have cleaner energy, not buying dirtier energy because we don't have enough supply. I have a 97% rating from the League of Conservation Voters, right? I care deeply about making sure we do this the right way. But the bottom line is, what I don't like is not actually having a solution for the future. And with AI coming on board, we're going to increase our utility demands, our energy demands by 60% over the next 5 years as a country. And we're going to want those jobs here. We're going to want to make sure we have AI jobs because those are the jobs of the future. And if we are not prepared and ready, we're going to have a huge problem. Making more energy will also improve reliability and cut down on outages across the state. That means no more brownouts during the summer when folks rely on AC during a brutal hot day. We also have communities in our state with apartments and offices that are actually ready to use but can't open, right? And this is a huge issue in Ocean County. They can't open because they don't have enough power. They literally can't get power to their apartments or they can't get power to their warehouses or new offices. I'll work to improve our out-of-date power grid with advanced technologies that modernize our infrastructure and help utilities restore service faster, especially after extreme weather events. So, and by the way, I worked on this a ton, as you know, with climate resiliency issues. It's one of the things I fought for and helped get passed in the infrastructure bill. And we need to make sure that we are more climate resilient. We're fighting climate change, but also doing all this in a smarter way, dealing with this out-of-date power grids with advanced technologies. There's ways we can do this. So what do the specifics of all the above energy and improving our grid actually look like? As governor, I'll provide incentives to increase solar capacity and authorize expansion of modular nuclear facilities. I'll invest in energy storage and upgrading transmission lines, substations, and other parts of our grid to improve efficiency, security, and reliability. I'll also expand utility assistance and energy efficiency programs to help families afford and lower their monthly bill. And finally, we have to increase accountability and competition. Like our next door neighbors have, I'll make sure that our regional grid operator, PJM, is working for Jersey families by bringing more supply online, not screwing us out of our hard-earned tax dollars and delaying needed alternative energy sources. And don't forget, again, we can do this in a way that meets our climate demands that we need to do and stay climate resilient, which is critical when we have so much flooding around our state. Fourth, we need to do what we can to make food more affordable. It's a big issue everywhere, and everyone knows it's what people are talking about because food costs are up. And they're up even higher under President Trump. Egg prices are up 53% higher than a year ago. And other costs at food and grocery stores are increasing, right? We've got supply chain issues that are in place still. What has the president done about this so far? Nothing, as far as I can tell. And Trump's tariffs, if they continue to go through, will add up to $2,000 a year to the average family's cost. $2,000. That's including adding those increases to food prices. It's unacceptable. Jersey needs relief. We need a more affordable future, not one where taxes and prices keep going up. My recipe for taking on high food prices begins by protecting consumers from anti-competitive practices, especially in the meat and poultry spaces. There's 4 major processors in the country that control the meat. We should be adding smaller ones in places like New Jersey for processing, right? Because when you have 4 and they control it like a monopoly, right? That means they keep raising the prices. They've already announced higher meat prices for processing this year because of these processors. They have a monopoly on the market. Jersey should produce more food as well, and not just on meat processing, but also we know of Jersey as at least I do, because I represent part of this, as a farm state, right? We are a top producer of cranberries and blueberries and rank in the top 10 nationally for 10 other crops. We have tons of specialty crops. Come to Sussex County. It's amazing what we produce. I'll work with our farmers to increase local food production and create more regional supply chains, so Jersey's eating cheaper and fresher food produced right here in our state. Lastly, we need to bring down the cost of health care and make high-quality care more accessible for more Jersey residents. Jersey is one of the best states in the nation when it comes to research and innovation and healthcare and life sciences. We should all be so proud of our innovative spirit here in our state. But when it comes to people being able to afford their health care, it's still too hard and too expensive for so many folks to get the care they need. More than half of Jersey residents are worried about how they'll pay for their next prescription drugs. And each year, individual healthcare spending is more than $10,500 per person on average. As governor, I'll make sure pharmacy benefit managers, the PBMs, the middlemen who are supposed to negotiate lower drug prices, are actually doing their job effectively. This will help bring down the cost of prescription drugs for patients across our state. Also help meet our senior care needs, because this is also a problem, and the good news is people are living longer. That's great news, right? And that's something that we should all celebrate, but of course, that comes with more costs and more challenges. We've got to take care of our seniors, and we want our seniors to be able to afford to stay here and be here. That means we've got to look out for them. So I'm unveiling additional steps to the lower cost of senior housing and making homes and buildings that seniors live in safer and more suitable for healthcare requirements as they age. I'm going to promote healthy equity and fight the opioid epidemic as well. I've worked hard in Congress to cut down on health disparities, specifically when it comes to maternal mortality rate, which is way too high, especially for black women. And I really want to thank our First Lady, Tammy Murphy, who's done a great job in this space and has been an incredible leader. And we're going to build on that and do even more. I'll take on this problem as governor to help improve how everyone can access the care they need. And I'll fight like hell to stop the far right from slashing Medicaid and Medicare, which, as you know, they're talking about right now as part of their proposals. Finally, we need to make sure we're treating mental health care the same as we treat physical health care. This is a huge issue. I'll make it easier for people in crisis to get connected with mental health professionals who can help them recover. And it means we got to take care of kids and adults who have special needs and make sure we look out for them too. My lower cost plan for Jersey will make it easier for families to afford childcare, housing, utility bills, groceries, and health care. I encourage you to read the full plan at joshforjersey.com. There will always be doubters. The political class loves to doubt, right? They say you can't do this, right? That's the problem of how we got here in the first place, right? Because they say it's too hard to take on and lower taxes, too hard to lower costs. It's exactly the wrong attitude, right? The wrong attitude is bullshit. You can do this, and I will do it as governor. Some folks will say that it's impossible, but you got to be willing to take this stuff on. I have a long record of doing that. We can do this. We can fight to lower taxes and costs for Jersey families. I will get it done. Together, we will get this done in the greatest country in the world. I know that if we work together, there's no reason,